I think every Subnautica player could agree that one of the best things about the game is that it's kinda really scary, and the good thing about it is that it's not very intentional, which makes it feel very, very natural. But what if that didn't exist? Would the game be better? Probably not. Subnautica would be a lot worse of a game if it wasn't scary. It'd be really easy, and it probably wouldn't be as successful as it is today. The thing is when I got scared in Subnautica, it felt like something wrong was actually happening. When I first went to the dead zone and used the sonar to see where I was absolutely terrified. No other game had ever made me feel as scared as going to the dead zone the first time was. But I think it's important, and I think if the end of the world was just an invisible wall, that would kinda really suck. So let's just get to the question, why does Subnautica's horror matter? What would happen if it wasn't scary, and how would that affect the experience as a whole? Usually when people talk about fear in Subnautica, they're talking about the suspense. Sure, there are times where you just get jump scared by a reaper, but it's what comes before that really matters. That's the real scary part. That's the reason people will call Subnautica a horror game, because you don't have a good way of detecting everything around you. It's a very disturbing feeling. The three scariest and most powerful enemies in the game are the Reaper Leviathan, the Ghost Leviathan, and the Sea Dragon. All of them will do immense damage and cause panic if the player isn't careful. The game portrays the idea that the player doesn't have any business doing anything in the alien ocean, but is there anyways. It forces the player to be cautious and aware of their surroundings, as there's not really a good way to see what's lurking around you. Now imagine for a second that wasn't in the game. The big scary Leviathans are gone and there's no scary aspect at all. At that point, why even bother? It would just be another random survival game that no one would care about, which is why these features are so important. They basically tell the player exactly what to do and how to play the game. For example, I didn't die once in my entire playthrough. I didn't have any idea what the game would be like, and I didn't watch any videos on it. My knowledge of the game was limited, but I still somehow completely understood how to play after 5 to 7 hours in, which is really good. If the game didn't have the hostile Leviathans, it would be too easy, and if they were much harder, the game would be a lot more frustrating, which basically means the developers hit the perfect point between both. It's important to note that in Subnautica, the sense of eeriness doesn't go away as time progresses in your playthrough. You could be building the rocket to get off the planet and still be completely scared of some of the small things in the game. Subnautica makes sure that you never feel fully confident, and it does a good job at it. One of the main reasons for this is that unlike other games, or survival games in particular, you don't have any weapons to kill any of the enemies with. In fact, as you get more powerful and advanced, you also have to be more careful in a way, because unlike the sea moth, the Cyclops can't escape danger very easily. This isn't to say that the player won't get more confident, however, because as time goes on, you'll be able to map out where certain places and Leviathans will be in your brain, and you'll be more confident with how to explore. What I'm saying is that the feeling of you being watched doesn't go away. You're stuck on an alien planet with no other humans and a bunch of giant fish trying to kill you, so the best you can do is keep exploring, even with the sense of eeriness. To conclude things, Subnautica is the most natural, scary game out there. When you start to drown in the game, it'll feel like real life. That's the magic of it. Even though that doesn't sound very nice. My friends had always told me to play the game, but for some reason I always ignored them, and now I kind of wonder why it took me so long. If you haven't played this game, you really should give it a try. And if survival games aren't your cup of tea, that seems to be fine with Subnautica, because I really dislike most survival games I've played in the past, but Subnautica is different, and one of the reasons for that is the horror aspect. Subnautica Below Zero, the sequel to Subnautica, took a different approach on this idea, and it went a little less well than expected. Subnautica 3 is in the works, however, so hopefully the developers learn from their mistakes with Below Zero and create another amazing experience.